Hello everybody, I hope you're doing fantastically well. Welcome back to Connor here on the One Leeds Fan Channel, and I'm here to talk to you about teamwallart.com. Now listen, for the channel to prosper, for the channel to have the creativity and the innovativeness that we have, we need you to go and buy a product from Team Wallart, guys, because it helps us. They help us run as a Leeds United fan channel, and what I love about them in particular is they're Leeds fans. They're not just some generic brand, they are Leeds fans. So we need to be supporting them. And I think they've got some great gear as well, guys. They've got a new Rafinha plaque, which Brownie's just got, which is absolutely mint. I think you guys have been ordering it in abundance, which is great to see. But if you'd go over there with the code ONELEEDS, you get a 10% discount and you can get plaques for as cheap as £5. It's worldwide shipping for an incredible rate. Go over there, guys. Check them out and enjoy the video. Yes, everybody. I hope you're all doing fantastically well. It is the double act. We are back here. I haven't got any double act. I can't think of any, to be honest. So we're just going to get into it. Brownie, everybody wave at Brownie. Stream went down last night because of old David over there showing you. He's trying to be kind. He's trying to show you a football match in the background. I
wouldn't mind if it was a classic, but dearie me, that first half would have bored anybody to death.
Mate, do you know what the best thing about it was? When we went off, the game actually kicked into life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Premier League have had given me a hand slap on the wrist, haven't they? But couldn't believe it. I mean, I wasn't even was oblivious. It was just on in the background. But we get to speak about Leeds winning again, don't we? So we can bask in the sunshine.
Do you know the best thing about it is, mate? What we've got to do is try touch on points if we can. Try challenge ourselves to touch on things that we didn't speak about yesterday, just so we enjoy it as well. But we will have to recycle a few old points. But thank you, everybody, for joining us on your Sunday afternoon. Hope you got your Sunday bests on. You can see me and Brownie have. You got a coffee, tea, whatever you like to drink on a morning. That gives you that kick. But Leeds United, if you don't know, beat Sheffield United 2-1 yesterday at Ellen Road. An important win, an important 3 points. And one thing I do want to discuss straight away is I did read a little bit last night on Paul Heckingbottom's comments that Leeds United adapted their subs to live with Sheffield United. Now, when I was watching Match of the Day back last night, it told a little bit of a different story on Match of the Day. I mean, I think we had every single highlight bar about 2 or 3 in that game. The fact, every time I watch this game back, the fact we only scored 2 goals, it's absolutely criminal.
Yeah, well, exactly the same word I was going to use, criminal. Don't know about you, I feel a little bit different today waking up after the game than I did yesterday. Yesterday was a bit...
football does, isn't it, Brown? It's
funny what football does. Yesterday as a fan, obviously like we all are, it had a bit of frustration yesterday after the game. It had that feel of every time we got breaking on them, we were like, oh, that final pass letting us down. But waking up today, you just think it's another 3 points on the board. It's all you don't get any bonus points for winning in style. Listen, if I'm a Sheffield United fan, well, that'll have been a good place to watch it. But yeah, you don't get any bonus points for scoring more goals or winning in style. But flipping it into a positive, like I mentioned last night, it's probably a good thing that we're in 10th place and we can pick little faults out that we can work on and propel us even further up the table next year. Because I think we had 21 chances, but only 8 on target. It's that same old turning them chances into goals. And we mentioned, obviously, I brought up Rafinha about him. He sometimes gives the ball away when inside when teams break on us, but he wasn't at his best yesterday, Rafinha, with his passing completion. That's backed up by stats. He wasn't, but he created the most chances for us. So he's going to give us the ball away if he's constantly getting on it. So it's a different waking up today, looking back on it and watching Match of the Day and watching the game back again. You tend to have a little bit of different feel to it. Sometimes you're a little bit frustrated despite the win. Like we said yesterday, had 5 minutes added time, and you think, oh, God, we shouldn't have been in a position where when the board's going up, we're thinking, oh, my word. But that's how the game sort of panned up. 2-1 flattered Sheffield United, to be fair. And touching back on your original point about the substitutions, I was watching the game and he was bringing on Brewster. He brought on Burke. He brought on he brought on someone else, and you think, hang on a minute, how many strikers do you want on the pitch? At one point, he brought on someone and he had to put Oliver Burke to right wing back just because he had that many attackers on the pitch. And then he was bringing Egan on. I don't know about adapting to live with them. I think he was doing his substitutions to adapt himself to work out what he was doing.
Yeah, no, I thought they were. That's the worst Sheffield United we've come up against in a long time. We've had some brilliant battles with them over the years. Even when Bielsa wasn't here, 2-1, they beat us there. 2-1, they beat us at Ellen Road, Brooks, and all that. But we've had some great battles with them. Yesterday, I thought that was probably the first time where we really could, if we even just took. Even if we just took sort of like 20-30% of our chances, we could have absolutely mauled them yesterday. But I was listening to a couple of, I think it's always good as well to listen to the other side of the coin, really. And I was listening to a couple of Sheffield United podcasts last night just to get a little bit of rhetoric for today. And they all see it the same way. I mean, the Leeds were completely dominant. They had a little bit of a period. I tell you what, I had a quick look back and watched a bit of the game this morning, and John Lundstrom, mate. I mean, we're not going to go on about Sheffield United players, but someone who just doesn't play for the shirt, and someone who, in my opinion, Chris Wilder wouldn't tolerate anymore. No. Just strolling around, doesn't care. We're not here to talk about Sheffield United players, but I just thought to myself, it did seem very different from even when we played them at the start of the season. They just didn't seem that grit and determination. I thought we were well worth the win.
Yeah, I mean, just touching on Lundstrom, he did 2 tackles on Dallas in about 60 seconds where neither of them got a yellow. And you just think little things like that, where is he going around just to pick up cat? I mean, I think it was telling for me from a Sheffield United point of view how Billy Sharp and Chris Basham suddenly now Wilder's gone are unavailable. That might be the cynic in me, obviously playing football before, but you two Sheffield United diehards are suddenly unavailable now. Chris Wilder's gone. Is that a coincidence? Possibly. But yeah, going back to Leeds, I think we had a spell where we came out the traps like a house on fire. Got our early goal, and it almost became too easy. It became we could sort of like score. Well, even though they got the equaliser, it always felt like we always had another gear or two to go into, and there was a 10 or 15 minute spell where Sheffield United just couldn't get out. It was just total dominance. And on another day, it could have got to 3, 4, 5, and it probably should have done, to be fair.
Do you know what I forgot about as well? Like when I was watching Match of the Day highlights last night, and when I was watching a bit of it this morning, I actually forgot how many times. Like Dallas could have had a hat-trick yesterday, especially when he, that lovely effort, which it just clipped the top of the crossbar, but when he was through on goal, put it just wide. And you were thinking to yourself, normally Dallas's conversion rate when he's been in those areas this season it's been pretty decent. A heart back to Newcastle, etc. But I just thought, we won the game and we were unlucky. But if we're to talk about, I think we have to talk about the referee, Brownie, because we touched on it yesterday, and I think we can't ignore absolutely everything we spoke about yesterday. No. I thought the referee had a poor game yesterday. I think he was guessing quite a bit, and that Baldock one, I mean, on Match of the Day, they didn't even touch on it again. And I think it's because they were talking about concussion and how that rule needs to be adapted, which I fully understand. But that is a straight red card, all ends up.
I'm staggered how much unattention it's got.
Yeah, me too. I can't believe it.
Like, they're talking about concussion, which is a serious point. I completely get it. But so's a broken leg. And Robert,
Brownie, can I just illustrate this? Josh Pitts has come in and said that, to be honest, that Baldock challenge was not as bad as it looked. And I think, Josh, the reason, and Brownie's got it spot on, the reason everybody's saying that is because, and we are getting a lot of that, I've seen it on Twitter as well, is because the tackle's not getting the attention it deserved. What's happening with that tackle is everybody's focusing on the concussion. When you actually look at the metric of that tackle and what a red card is in the modern game, studs up, 2 feet off the ground, 2-footed, reckless. All the components are directed to a red card. And I think, Brownie, this is something that's been going on in my head. When they were last at Ellen Road, when they beat us 1-0, Was it Baldock? You might not remember. And if you can in the comment section, let me know. There was a red card all ends up that should have gone to them.
It was on funny you say that. Was it on Pontus Janssen? I seem to recall.
Yes, and he went tumbling. I think it was Baldock. Was it Baldock?
It was in the first half. And I remember.
I'm pretty sure it was Baldock.
Someone might be able to say in the comments. It was in the first half, just outside the box at the Cop end. And Janssen went flying, and just that touching on Josh's, it wasn't as bad as it looked. I disagree. For me, I don't like to see red cards. I like 11v11. I think the game. Everybody says the game's gone soft. It's not the same game anymore. I completely buy all that. But that particular challenge, he wasn't in control of what he was doing.
Roberts landed on his neck.
He wasn't in control of what he was doing. And to sum that up, that he wasn't in control of what he was doing, Baldock's had to put his arms up to stop himself. He's actually put his arms up to stop himself on Roberts.
Yeah.
He was off the floor. He was 2-footed. And we're talking about concussion. Roberts could have been seriously injured. And it didn't even get a yellow.
No, we spoke about it, Brownie, didn't we?
We're talking about... people, so Josh might say it wasn't as bad as it looked. That fair enough. It's a game of opinions.
Of course it is.
To not even get a yellow card, I don't understand it. And just going back to your original point of the referee, there was one with McGoldrick where he's taken a tumble, scooped the ball, and got a yellow. 5-10 minutes before it, John Fleck's done the same thing. He's took a tumble. He's looking to get a set piece near our box. He's took a tumble. Nobody's touched him. He's scooped the ball up with his arms. Nothing. If you're going to book one, you've got to book the other, or don't book either. It's coming apparent to me, and it was something mentioned it, and since they mentioned it, I can't stop seeing it, that referees are tending to book attacking players a lot more because they know they're not going to have to deal with them later on in the game. It's just we'll book an attacker just to calm things down, because chances are he's not going to put another tackle in later on in the game, and I'm seeing it a lot. The same with McGoldrick. Should he really have been booked? Not if you're not going to book Fleck for the same thing. But there was a few. I mean, Ayling does it, and there was one Ayling did yesterday. His Ayling flop. I mean, we've got to be fair both ways. Nobody's touched him, and the rest just buy it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Ayling, but he's got a bit of a knack of it. But Brownie, shall we talk about Leeds and not the ref? Let's get into it. And Rob Athers reminded us there, and we do, Rob, we do. But let's get into it anyway. And guys, before as well, we did have a competition yesterday. It was basically, we just got to 12,000 subscribers, and we asked you guys to get involved, send an email at the fact that you've subscribed to the channel, you liked our latest video, and you would be in the running with getting a free shirt. Oliver Wilson won that. Well done, Ollie. I don't know if you're watching, but there will be a Leeds shirt sent out to you today. So well done. We're going to try do that anytime we get a bit of a milestone. So make sure you subscribed and you're automatically entered as well, guys. Team Wall 10% off with the code 1Leeds. Go check it out. And make sure you subscribed as well. Make sure you subscribe because you get the notifications every time me and Bill and Ben upload. So
to be fair on Team Wall on the video yesterday that Sly Sports pulled, there was quite a few people jumping on Team Wall to be fair, and ordering stuff for Easter and stuff. So that's good because I mean we've both been sent stuff and it is really good stuff to be fair to put on the walls. But yeah, let's get into the goals because like we say, we started like a house on fire.
Brownie, I'm going to have to... Layla has been putting this comment in for the past 10 minutes and I'm going to have to address it. Are we safe now, Connor? Of course. Layla, if we hadn't have played any more games on 36 points, if we'd have lost every single game, I'd have been convinced that we were staying up. And now it's mathematically no team has ever gone down on 42 points. And this isn't the best bottom three we've ever seen. So I really wouldn't worry.
I'm just going to pull you up once.
Shut up. Shh.
West Ham went down in 2000 and something on that point. It's happened once.
Right. So Brownie thinks we're going down.
I don't think we're going down. Let's put it this way. Does Layla think we're going to get into Europe? Quickly, Layla, comment. Are we going to get into Europe? Quickly. If she pops up.
We're all just waiting on Layla to comment now.
If she pops up, does Layla think we're going to get into Europe? This is how I'm going to bit of Yuri Geller. I'm going to get into her mind and change it. Does she think we're going to get into
Yes. She just said yes. Or he just said yes.
That's killed my theory. Okay, so thanks for that. We're closer to Europe than we are the relegation zone. We're closer to Liverpool. We're closer to Tottenham than we are Fulham. We're not going to go down. We're in the top 10. I mean, unbelievable season from Bielsa. He's the first manager in God knows how many years to win 13 of the first 30. We've got 42 points, and we've got the same amount of points as that. Does she think Arsenal are going to go down?
I think the key is Brownie as well, with everyone on the chat. And I'm going to caveat this talking about some players that were brilliant yesterday for me. But I think the caveat with that is, we are where we are. We've got 3 games coming up. 3 games coming up where the likelihood is, guys, the likelihood, and Leeds don't work on likelihoods. We've seen that with Chelsea. We've seen that with Arsenal, Man City. But the likelihood is we lose all 3 games. The key thing is not to have an absolute meltdown when that happens, because we're in a fantastic position. We're not supposed to beat these 3 teams. So let's go in and just give it a go. And I think we will do. And hopefully we'll be pleasantly surprised. But Brownie, I want to bring a couple of players to light from yesterday. Diego Llorente, Stuart Dallas, Jack Harrison. Some real standout performances there. I thought there were... Diego Llorente, I thought, was absolutely brilliant. Can we just touch on Diego Llorente, Brownie? We'll move on to Dallas and Harrison, who I think were probably the top 3 there. And we'll talk about corners as well, and Melier doing much better in Leeds defending from set pieces very nicely. Touching on Diego Llorente, a little bit like a fine wine at this moment in time, isn't he? He's getting better and better. And I think the only thing that is potentially going to hinder Diego Llorente from going forward and becoming a mainstay in this Leeds United side is his injury record. I think everything else is absolutely set up for him, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right what you say. He's getting better and better with each game. At the early starts of his Leeds career, it was a bit shaky. You always felt like on edge when he had the ball, but you can see his passes into mid. What really impresses me, and the first goal came from Llorente stepping in front of McBurney. He's in front of his man. He's got the ball. He's always looking to play forward. He's all like the Southampton goal at Ellen Road. It came from Llorente winning the ball, threaded through ball to Roberts, who turned and threaded. He's always looking to play forward and be positive. And the other good thing is people always label. Do you know when strikers come to the Premier League? We've seen it with Timo Werner. They need time to adapt. They've come from a foreign league. Well, so is Llorente. He's only 30 games into a Premier League season, and he doesn't look out of place. And he hasn't played all them games because you're right, what you rightly said about his injury record.
Yeah.
He's played a handful of games, and he's getting better and better. And I think it was telling what he said during the international break. He did an interview saying that when he was out injured, he became very much more in touch with Leeds. He got to get to grips with the place, the city. A bit like Bielsa said when he came, he wanted to really understand what Leeds was all about, and he looks like he feels like he's bought into that. Obviously, yeah, players say things that fans want to hear, but it does come across that he's really loving it. I mean, the nice touch yesterday on his Twitter feed, he put pictures. You know how players do? They put pictures up of the game of them playing, and one of his pictures was the banner of Peter Lorimer, RIP. It's just little touches like that which will endear himself to the Leeds fans, and
of course
will buy him some time. But yeah, I think MOM for me between him and Harrison. Obviously, last night on the video, I gave it to Harrison purely because I'm a forward and goals win games, and he scored and got an assist. But from an all-round play, if we'd have probably kept a clean sheet, I'd have probably gone Llorente. It was that fine balance.
Yeah, and we're just going to interject as well. William Birdsall's just said, apparently Llorente watched the Amazon documentary. I don't know if that's taking the mick, or you're probably right.
Yeah, things like that. He has said that in his interview, that he's really wanted to get in touch with Leeds and what it's all about, because it's a club with great history. And he's an international footballer at the end of the day, so it can only help.
Yeah, Pete Hill as well, just interjecting with a nice comment that makes us all feel good. Leeds have become the first promoted side to win 13 out of 30 since Reading 06-07. That's what I was trying to say yesterday, but I couldn't remember who it was. But okay, let's touch on somebody else who was good. And I didn't mention him, but I think there's sort of 4 players there. Michael has said, Michael 28 HD has mentioned your comment yesterday, Brownie as well. Tyler Roberts, probably his best game in a long time. Everyone was talking about Kevin. By the way, Kevin De Bruyne's ball yesterday. Woo! But yeah,
just touching on Kevin De Bruyne, by the way. Can you imagine being the person that said at Chelsea it wasn't good enough? Like, we need to get rid of that Kevin De Bruyne.
Jesus.
What on earth?
I mean, that Brownie, that ball. I mean, I've not seen that. It was almost in slow motion. It was that good. But
I think
a lot
Johnny Evans. It's Johnny Evans where he's stretching and he wants to get there, but he just can't. And it's just
Fofana, wasn't it? Fofana tried, didn't he? But he couldn't get near it.
I'm sure we'll touch on Kevin De Bruyne for the preview for the Man City game, which I can't wait for.
Yeah, nice crap. But no, and you know, we're touching on Roberts because he played a very, very nice ball. We saw a little bit of a difference in Roberts in terms of actually getting the ball out and playing it quickly. And I think it is key to note yesterday he was better, definitely better. But we were talking yesterday, weren't we, Brownie? This has to become more consistent because we're seeing better performances. We're seeing him churn out more minutes. We're seeing him get better. I think I quoted his semi-assist yesterday, which we've seen Roberts do plenty of times. But
I'm still laughing that. I mean, yeah, I can't know who said the comment. It was probably one of his better games. He did the best thing I've seen him do in a Leeds shirt, that crossfield ball to Harrison.
Ball, that wasn't it?
Yeah, unbelievable ball. And that's the frustrating side of of Roberts. He did that unbelievable ball, and then 30 seconds later on the attack, and he then texts touch, and we lose it. It's just do the things that are making you get involved in the games. He was involved in the first goal where he played it through to Rafinha.
Yeah.
The good things with Roberts always come where he takes one or two touches. The ball to Rafinha, it was either one or two touch. The through ball in the Southampton game, his assist this season for Bamford, he got it touch straight through. It's when he's taking touch, and then playing it where we break down, or he doesn't even get to play it.
You know where he's dangerous for me? Do you know where he's dangerous? It's when and we've spoken about this a lot of time, off the ball. I still don't think, I'll be honest with you, Brownie, I still don't, and I'm going to follow this point on. I still don't think he's that great defensively. I don't, when I watch him, when the ball is lost, I don't see him putting in the yards, for example, like a Dallas does. But when I think he's the most dangerous is when he's on the half turn, when the ball's coming in, he's got his body open. Yeah. And they find him in those pockets of space where he's very good. He's very intelligent at finding those pockets of space. But sometimes it's when that's
when he doesn't have to overthink it. Sorry, he's got it, and he has to play it because he's got bodies around him. It's when he gets the ball in loads of space. It's almost as if he needs to do something amazing. He just play it simple, and that's where he's been getting most of his joy. I'm still not having this semi-assist malarkey. I think we're clutching at straws if we have to bring in semi-assists. Yeah. At the end of the day, it was another game without a goal or assist, but it was a better performance.
Much better.
And people have been calling for him to be getting his minutes and getting his games. And yesterday, I said myself during the game, he needs to stay on the pitch. It should be Bamford going off. I don't know. We don't really need to touch on Bamford. It was a quiet game for him. Yep. But his quiet games for Bamford come when we're playing against a back three, like we said. So it might look quiet game, but is he actually isolating more defenders for the wingers?
Yeah.
To actually get involved in the game? Because I thought Rafinha and Harrison had so much joy because Bamford's taking up 3 men in the middle. Bamford's games, like the comment just said, is when we're playing against a back three where Bamford struggles. He's up against 3 men. He's going to be isolated. But I think, just quickly touching on the Roberts, I think when he's playing with Rodrigo, I think it's telling how influential Bamford is because we saw it in the Chelsea game when Bamford went off, and we saw it again yesterday when Bamford went off. Other teams then get a little bit more joy playing out from the back. They seem to be able to come on to us more.
Do you know what I noticed when he goes off consistently? We saw it in the second half, and these were really surprising. Maybe this is what you get with Jack O'Connell, Basham, Egan. But we've always seen, notoriously, Ogbonna, you saw it with Gary Cahill flipping trying it. Zuma was probably the best example of it. But you always get, because Leeds commit men forward, you will always get the centre-back trying to come out with the ball. And you didn't see that a lot yesterday from Sheffield United. As soon as Bamford left, you saw Ampadu stepping up into that midfield third, and you thought it's a massive difference. And it's how you you'll know as a striker as well. It's how you close down the angle. And he's such an intelligent footballer at closing down the angle. Bamford, you'll see him bending his run and then cutting off the angle so many times. And with Rodrigo, when he came on, I thought it was a little bit, and I'm not blaming him here, but it's just the intelligence of the striker. And I think Rodrigo is a little bit of a headless chicken in terms of just getting to the ball. And that, as a striker, I don't think is the way that you cut off space.
Yeah, like you say, you're right. He gets in between the other defender and forces the player one way, because if you're in between the defender and the man with the ball, he can't come back across the pitch. So you're kind of shutting that space off and going, right, then you're off that way, mate, because you can't go back that way. Whereas when it's Rodrigo Roberts, it's more of an eagerness. Like, I want to work hard, I want to get to the ball, and it's just running steam ahead straight to it, and they can just get popped round. So sometimes it might look lazy, but sometimes not even moving that much, just blocking a space, and obviously Bamford does it so well.
Yeah, a lot of people just talking about Tyler Roberts as well here, Brownie. Tyler is getting better and better. He's young, very talented. John H has said a semi-assist is classed as a key pass. It's a legitimate statistics, not clutching at straws at all, sorry. I wonder how many key passes he has made would be a good stat to find out.
Isn't any pass a key pass if it goes to your man?
Yeah, I would say in the build-up, though, would you say that that's probably more influential?
I mean, then Dallas passed it to Roberts. Does Dallas get a key? How far do you go back with this key pass? I mean, if you want to start doing key passes to make his stats look better, at the end of the day, it's goals and assists for me. But key passes, I've always thought a key pass was an assist, but I'm not taking it away from him. He was instrumental in both goals. The goals don't happen without him.
Yeah, and that's the key thing, isn't it? The goals don't happen without him, which I think is the key point and what people
are right with what they're saying. He's getting better and better. He just, for me, it's still a frustration where, I mean, Harrison should score, then he gets an assist when the one where he's taken out from Baldock. It's a great through ball from Roberts. It's again where he's taking touch and playing it
quick.
Yeah. When he's quick with the ball, he's not having to think. I just want to see goals and assists added to his game, and then you can start talking about his stats. Because at the minute, if you do look at his stats, they're not good. There's no hiding from it. They're not good, but he is getting better and better. And for me, he starts ahead of Rodrigo for me at the minute, and that's a big statement.
Has that been a bit of a change? Because in the preview, you seem to be swinging more to Rodrigo. Is that sort of based on the performance yesterday?
I just think I don't like Rodrigo and Roberts together. It'd be nice. No, I don't think they work. They don't complement each other at all. Maybe it'd be different if Rodrigo was playing with Bamford. I think Rodrigo and Roberts together, other teams seem to get more into the game when them two are playing together. So it's not a knock on either one of them. I just think they're very much of a likeness in how they play. But Roberts has been getting the nod, and like yesterday, I said he should be the one that stays on. It should be Bamford that leaves. Things were coming from Roberts. There's no hiding from that. Things were coming from Roberts.
Yeah, but definitely.
We're talking about a Sheffield United who are going to be in the Championship next year. You can only play with what's in front of you. He did well against Chelsea, but we need to start seeing goals and assists. He is getting a run of games now, and there's still no goals or assists coming.
Andy McNairn, thank you so much. Best Leeds channel by far. Cheers to the content, guys. I really appreciate that, mate. As I say, anything that donation-wise you give to us, we put it back into the channels. Thank you so much. There was a Newcastle comment, which I just saw. Matt Hurd. Hi, guys. NUFC fan here. It's always great getting other fans on. It's great us having our Leeds community, but it's always great getting other people's opinions as well. Just wanted to say, great season by you guys. Bielsa has made your team immense. Love the way you play. I just hope Newcastle can find some passion and pick up some much-needed points. Listen, Matt, we all want Newcastle to stay up. Big team, great following. Very similar to Leeds in the north.
And we're not in London.
Yeah, exactly.
Touching on Newcastle quickly, we have that Kevin Keegan Newcastle feel to us at attack, defence, attack, defence, attack, defence.
Yeah.
The years where they had Tino Asprilla and the 4-3s against the Liverpools, it is a very much like that sort of approach that we have taken.
Definitely. So another player that we want to talk, I want to touch on. So we'll go to Stuart Dallas. I thought he was fantastic yesterday. Again, just the engine. There's not, the thing is with Dallas, the reason I don't touch on him so much is because it's got to that point now, and it's very similar with Phillips, where you expect that 7, 8 out of 10 performance because he's set that bar by himself week in, week out. And with Stu, it's just very similar, getting himself into very good situations. One thing I will say, I never want to see him at left back again, and that's not in terms of preference. That's in terms of because I think he's better in the middle. I think he's more influential in the middle. And with Leeds looking to get a left back in the next season, I can only see him filling in there when that person is not going to be there, or maybe Leif Davis is going to be showing a little bit more, and Niall Huggins, who knows. But I really like Dallas in central midfield. I think he wants the ball. Well, that's what I love about Stu. He always wants the ball, and you'll see in the Premier League, you saw it with Arsenal yesterday, probably on Brownie's screen, but with Arsenal yesterday, there's players hiding. You've got even players like Odegaard. You've got players in the middle for Arsenal hiding. They don't want the ball. Stuart Dallas, whatever the weather, rain or shine, whoever we're up against, Man United, Man City, Newcastle, West Brom, whoever it is, he'll want the ball in tight situations. He might make a mistake, but he'll make up for that mistake. And I thought, once again, Brownie, another 8 out of 10 performance from him yesterday.
Yeah, we may as well just record this and just press play every week with Stuart Dallas, because he's become, if you think back to 5 years ago, 5, 6, he's been here a long time. When we signed him, it was like 1.7, 1.8 million or something. And you just thought, what have we signed? But now he's become, he's got to be one of the first names on the team sheet. And that's a big statement with the players we've got, with Phillips, Rafinha, Bamford, how well they've done. But Dallas is one of the first names on the team sheet. And he'll, like you say, he might make a mistake here and there, but it won't stop him. He'll still then go and get the ball again. And that's what you want to see from footballers, not hiding.
And it's Brownie is an ex-footballer. Even when I used to play football, because I used to play in centre midfield, it's very, very difficult when you're coming up against very good opponents to want the ball consistently, because you've got that cloud over your head. This player's probably a little bit better than me, and if I'm going up against one-on-one, he's going to be on my heels. And actually wanting the ball in those positions, those tight spaces, it's such an underrated quality. And a characteristic trait for Stuart Dallas. He's willing to make a mistake. He's willing to lose the ball, and he's got that confidence in himself to win it back.
You can throw that at Roberts as well, to be fair to him. I mean, yeah. Obviously, I'm not his biggest fan, but he's the same. He wants to go and get the ball. He's playing out of position himself, which has made me... I asked the question, what is Roberts' best position? If you asked him, where would he play? And obviously, in the national break, he's come out and said he'd prefer to be the number 9. So that's why I'm giving Roberts a little bit more leeway now, because he's playing out of position and doing it to a good level. Yeah. And he's wanting to go and get the ball in them tight situations. And you're right, in the middle of the pitch where it's compact, it is very difficult.
Horrible.
And the more you get on it, obviously, the more you're going to give it away. It's just the nature of the beast. But then the good players and the not so good players, the difference between them is the ones that then go and get it again. They're not afraid of making the mistake. It just sets them above the rest. And Dallas fits into that massively. He might give it away, but a few seconds later, he's asking for it, hunting it for it again. And like I say, there's a few comments there. He's become one of the first names on the team sheet for me. And it's a big statement. I said he was the player of the year last year. I know Hernandez won it in the end, because what Hernandez did in them last 9 games, he was the difference, wasn't he? He was coming on in games. He was like an American football substitute. He'd come on and go off again. He'd just come on, do a bit of magic and go off again. And the goal at Swansea is probably what swung it for a lot of people. But Dallas last year, he'd come up with some big goals. You think of Preston on Boxing Day in the last minute. He put one in the top corner. Birmingham away, he made us go back.
Brown, if I'm to talk about one which epitomised that guy, it was, and I will say this, I'll go on record as saying this, everybody in that team for me on that day, in that second half, bottled it. Only person who turned up in that second half against Derby was Stuart Dallas in the playoff semi-finals. He was absolutely fantastic. And this is what he's like. And, I was doing a transfer thing the other day, and I was talking about Leeds signing Rodrigo, De Paul and Coop Miners to get to that next level. But I do think we need another central midfielder. I do. 100% do. I think we need that sort of 8-10 who's going to produce moments of magic. And God, I touch wood, I hope it's Rodrigo, De Paul. But there is an argument that Stuart Dallas, as you've said, Brownie, in a lot of people's opinions, player of the year, 2 times on the trot, turns his blood to water for Leeds United, runs himself into the ground week in, week out, produces moments of quality. I think he's got 5-6 goals this season, a few assists. There is an argument that you get an added player with quality, but you flipping keep Stuart Dallas in that team.
Of course, he's got to be. And that's where we've become now. We're 10th in the Premier League. we want to go to, all of us want to go to that next step. And that next step is 7th, 8th, touching around Europe. And that's when you need to bring in other players. And then you the sentimental, your heart and the sentimental side then starts to think, well, that means Cooper's going to not be playing. You're looking at replacing Dallas. And it's like, you can't do that. How do you not play Stuart Dallas?
No, but I think I know what you're saying about Cooper. I think he's been brilliant, absolutely superb this year. I don't get the hate he gets. I think it's just it's agendas. But with Dallas, for me, out of that bunch, he is even above Erling. I would say that what he's doing for us at this moment in time. I think he is the player of the year, and what he does. Like last year, he's close to player of the year as well. I don't, for that consistent performance, that 7, 8 out of 10. If you just sprinkle a little bit of a quality player around him in that midfield, you've got Calvin just in behind him. Improve other areas. Is he the one who stays in? I mean, this is probably a topic for another video, but is he the one who stays in for Leeds United?
Just to finish the Stuart Dallas chat, because it is probably a good conversation to have. Can you ever think of a bad performance by Stuart Dallas where he's had a howler? Because I'm struggling in the last 2 years. I'm struggling to think of a game where I've gone, get Dallas off that pitch.
No, and I just like, Lee Smith's this is exactly what I was saying, mate. I love Dallas, but he will play his best, but he isn't that next level for now. But I think if you put players with absolute quality around him, like you've seen even with Rafa in the team, you've seen even with those levels of quality, Dallas's performance has gone up even more. And I just think,
well, he's keeping Click out of the team.
This is it. Brownie's
we'd never have said that.
He's keeping Rodrigo out the team. You know what I mean? And that's. I tell you what, Brownie, we'll leave this for another video. We could talk about, and that could be a nice little video if we do one this week. Me and Brownie will do something on Stuart Dallas. I think it's great. But let's move on. Jack Harrison. Anyway, fire away.
Yeah, I just nudged it for me for the man of the match because of his assist and the goal. I thought he should have had another one, which would have given Roberts his assist. It was funny, innit? Ramsdale, he hasn't been able to catch a cold or save a Word document all year, and he's pulling saves off from Dallas. Dallas. He saved one from Harrison. He saved Bamford. You're looking at these chances. It was 2-1, and you're thinking of these chances. Them three make it 5-1. And then all the counter-attacks where our final ball's not been great. It could have been anything yesterday, which was, I think, why we were a little bit frustrated last night on the video. But this morning, waking up and...
What video?
Looking at the table, watching Match of the Day, watching the game back, and you just think, 3 points, happy. But for Harrison, what was it, 7 goals for the season? It's not a bad return. It's not a bad return. He's had his little spell out of the team, which I think he needed, because I think he was, whether it was running on empty or what, he just wasn't at the same level that we've seen Jack Harrison. And that's only because of how well he's done. It's nothing against Harrison. It's just of how he's just set his standards that high. He's got 7 goals in the Premier League. I don't know how many assists he'll have a few on them. He felt back to himself yesterday, running at players, getting balls into the box. And like Josh says there, he can't play next week against City, which is a shame for Harrison himself, because I just think he's just building up a little bit of form again, and now he's going to have to drop back out of the team.
Well, goals in it just for Jack Harrison here, just goals and assists in the Premier League this year. Number 1, James Maddison, 13. Number 2, Jack Harrison, 12. Number 3, James Ward-Prowse level with 12. Number 4, Mason Mount on 9, and it's his first season in the top flight. It's not bad, is it?
We're getting him for what, 8 to 10 million, and he's up there with James Ward-Prowse, Mason Mount, and James Maddison. And this is my argument with Roberts. That's the levels that he needs to get to with his goals and assists in that position. That's his job. He's in the attacking midfield role. If we signed, we know you want Rodrigo de Paul, right? We go out and sign Rodrigo de Paul, and after 10 games, he hasn't got a goal or assist. We ain't happy.
You're blaming me.
That's where I want Roberts to improve himself. He wants to be in that conversation with goals and assists. And I do get he's been unlucky, but he can't keep on being unlucky game after game. They need to come. And I think he can do it. He has got the ability to do it. He should have had an assist yesterday. Harrison should score. I get the rhetoric in he was key in the other 2 goals, but going back to Harrison,
what a save, by the way.
Yeah, and that's I do buy that he has been unlucky. As then, if he starts adding goals and assists to his game like Harrison has, what is he, 22?
Yeah.
Then you have got a play. There is a player there. He doesn't play for Leeds United because he's rubbish. I'm not saying he's rubbish. He's just frustrating because he has got it and he needs maybe he needs one to go in off his backside, Roberts. But yeah, we're straying away from Harrison. Just look at the company you just mentioned there.
We're straying away from Harrison. Somehow we're talking about Roberts again.
Yeah, look at the company. But that's where I want Roberts to be. I want him to be in 3 or 4 assists, 5 or 6 goals, and I think that's what he should be. But the company that Harrison's in there, Ward-Prowse, Mount, and Maddison. I mean, they're all playing for England. They're all in the conversation for England. We hear Maddison should be playing for England. Mount starts for England. Ward-Prowse started in the international break, and Harrison's in that bracket.
He's got to be getting close, hasn't he? I do always wonder, and this is where it'll be interesting because I know it took Phillips a while, and this could be another video as well. But it's the adaptation of Leeds players outside the Bielsa system. I think a lot of people are talking about Bamford for England. Brilliant, 100% agree. Should have been in that squad. It'd just be really interesting because I knew it took Phillips a long time for me to really get, and I think he's still getting used to the England squad. I'd be really interested to see Harrison and Bamford in that England squad and how different their performances might be in that England squad because of just the completely different way of playing, system, ethos, etc. I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, we look who we had. We've had Monk, Warnock, Christiansen, Heckingbottom, and then none of them got a tune out of them players. Them players, Bamford, Ayling, Harris, you look at Alioski, Dallas, they're nowhere near Premier League players under their managers. So you go back to Bielsa. Bielsa's transformed them into he's turned them into international footballers.
Yeah.
So 100%. Not in a Bielsa system, how do they play? It'd be interesting to see. But Phillips gone into England and took to it like, what has he got, 5 or 6 caps now? And like you say, he's adapting to other things. So there's no reason why Harrison couldn't.
Of course not, mate. Of course not. Yeah, we'll end it now, mate. We've been going on for 45 minutes. So thank you, everybody. It's been really interesting, been quite refreshing, actually. We've actually had more viewers today than we had last night, which is really interesting. If you guys would prefer me and Brownie to maybe do it the day after at about midday, that is
probably better, because
I think so.
I've got and I'm sure everybody in the comments and fans, and like we said yesterday, when that 4th official board went up for 5 minutes, every single one of us will have gone, oh my God, 5 minutes. Where's he got 5 minutes from? That was the frustrating side. We shouldn't have been in that situation. Whereas the next day, I don't know, I feel a little bit different looking back at the game.
Yeah, and I think you always do. Waiting a day is next day with a coffee is always good, says Nicholas. Good contact, lads. The next day is always best. We calm down. So yeah, I think that's it. We'll definitely take that going forward. But guys, as well, as I always say, please check out Team Warlart. Some great stuff on there. If you want to help the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description below. It does, believe it or not, actually cost quite a bit to run a channel with all the bits and bats.
Streaming Sky Sports, tell you that.
Yeah, especially when you have to take videos down. Yeah, exactly. Lee Smith says there's no video yesterday from your channel. Yes, there was an issue with copyright, so that's the only reason there is no video yesterday on the channel. We had to take it down, and that's why we're doing what we're doing today, just for an explanation.
Lee, like the camera was like that. That is how much of the Arsenal-Liverpool game you could see.
And the Premier League did block it, which is mad, but there you go. But thank you for everybody who's joined. If you wouldn't mind sharing this video, liking it, and please make sure you subscribe. Brownie, thank you so much for joining, and everybody have a fantastic
to everyone in the comments as well. Like everyone in the comments, if you agree or disagree, that's what football's all about. So thanks to every one of them as well. Everybody will have a different opinion. It'd be boring if we all woke up and thought the same thing from a football match. We wouldn't have anything to talk about. So all the comments get listened to and get read. So keep them coming.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, guys, well, have a good Sunday. Have a great day with your friends and family, and we will see you in a bit. Cheers.
Yeah. Have a good Easter.